Hey y'all, hey, welcome to Tootie Talk Sense. Happy Monday. Today we're gonna talk about the P. Diddy case update, Lil Durk case update. We're gonna talk about Margie Taylor Greene. Y'all know, bleach blonde, butch body. Yeah, we're gonna talk about her getting caught lying. And we're going to talk about Donald Trump is sending over the first flight of the white South Africans should be making it to the U.S. today. So come on, y'all, let's discuss.
Straight from the shy, spitting truth, no halt. 2D talk sense, keep the culture on vault. Politics, humor, mix it raw in the stew. Breaking down the news like she's slicing a cube. Come on, y'all, let's discuss, that's the frame. Dropping hitters, 2D's putting lame to shame. Hilarious for real, got the nation on the buzz. Got them tuning in like they addicted to the love. She the queen of the trends, no fake, no frauds. Unpacking every topic, flipping all the odds. From city lights sparking to the Capitol walls. 2D got the mic, they just stalling in the hall. She a vibe, make Chicago proud on the route. Windy City wit, knocking all the clout out. Raw but so rich, intellect on the brim. Swimming through the chaos, never decrease the dim. Come on, y'all, let's discuss, that's the frame. Breaking it down, keep it sharp like a blade. Hilarious for real, got the nation on the buzz. 2D talk sense, spreading heat like the sun. Kanye level antics, nah, she's supreme. Stitching words together like a courtroom dream. Politics on canvas, brush strokes vivid. 2D's broad vision turning limits to liquid.
Now, hey y'all, how was y'all Mother's Day? Yesterday was Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Belated Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. What did y'all end up doing for y'all Mother's Day? Because I got up early. I went to work. I came home when none cooked for me, so I made uh I came home and I made a pot roast with the potatoes, some macaroni and cheese, some zuppa Toscani soup, and I probably mispronounced that because y'all know one thing's for certain, two things for sure. I'm mispronunciate some words up in here. and me and my daughter, the youngest, we made chocolate cupcakes with little sprinkles on them. And so that's what. And then of course I spent the rest of the night doing my doggone hair. You see it straight at the end, y'all. I got to curl it and then I'll be finished. But that was what my Mother's Day consisted of. How was y'all's? Hopefully y'all had a good Mother's Day. I want to thank the new subscriber, Luigi. And I said drop down in the comments so I can see if you're a new subscriber and I'll shout y'all out on the next video. So what y'all want to get into first? Y'all want to get into Lil Durk, P. Diddy? Let's do Lil Durk. Because he trying to get these charges dropped, right? First he goes in court and he asks for bail, but the bail is denied. But the next court date is for a hearing to dismiss the charges. So let me read y'all this article because, like, broken down simply, is they was using lyrics in one of his songs to prove that he committed this unaliving for hire. But when they went and did the lawyers are doing the research, and they're like, this song was worth 6 months before this even happened. This unaliving even happened. And I'm like, how could a prosecutor not look that up? How you gonna just include that in the case and not look that up? Everybody know them songs don't drop the moment that they made. Like, what was this prosecutor thinking? So they getting that part taken out of the case. So his attorneys are figuring like, hey, y'all pretty much ain't got nothing else. The only thing that they have that's really sticking now is the text message that says from Lil Durk saying, don't buy the plane tickets to anything that could connect back to me. So This article is from LA Times, and it says judge denied Lil Durk bail and unalive for hire case, citing rappers jail calls from jail. And so, that's another thing. But we're gonna get to it when I read this article. He was caught using somebody else's phone like 13 times, and the judge is like, "See, you ain't learned. You still don't follow rules. You think the rules ain't for you." And that's the reason I feel like she denied his bond, or whoever the judge is. So a federal judge ordered that rapper Lil Durk remain behind bars pending his trial on unalive for hire charges, citing a report that he is violating jail rules by using other inmate phone account and engaging in three-way calls. Now I ain't saying I didn't talk to some people who've been in jail, but if you have, y'all know that's coming. Yes, it's against their rules, but people do it all the time because not everybody. The way that the jail phone, not that I know, but this is what I heard. The way that the jail phone system works, the person who you call have to have money on their account to receive your calls, right? Or yeah, I think some jails work like that. Yeah, I'm not the expert in this shit, so what they do is they'll have one person who number is approved or who number they can call. They'll call that person and have that person call somebody else. And it'd be people like their mom or their sister. Of course, it could be some other stuff, but it doesn't matter to me in a three-way if all the calls are recorded. It ain't like once you make a three-way call, the call ain't recorded. The calls are recorded. So what difference does that make? But anyway, yeah, let's continue. So citing that he broke the rules by using other inmate phone call accounts and engaging in three-way calls. During a bail review hearing Thursday, U.S. Magistrate Judge Patricia Donahue said the rapper, whose legal name is Durk Devontae Banks, showed a disrespect for the rules by using 13 other inmate phone accounts at L.A. Metropolitan Detention Center. Drew Finally, Banks' attorney argued that other inmates have done the same thing and said the defense team didn't see it as an issue that will prevent his release. He also told the judge that Banks, who was wearing a white prayer cap, was committed to his Muslim faith. Bank 32 is accused of ordering the unaliving of Taquan Bauman, a Georgia rapper called Quando Rondo, whose cousin was unalive in a botched ambush near the Beverly Center Mall in Los Angeles in 2022. Banks have pleaded not guilty. Last week, prosecutor filed a superseding indictment that added a stalking resulting in unaliving charge. The indictment removed prior references to lyrics it had previously said Banks used to commercialize the shooting. So they pretty much saying he made a song and made money off um, the guy being unalive. So prosecutors previously said Banks had rapped about his revenge with music that explicitly referenced audios from a news clip of Bowman screaming, "No, no," after seeing his cousin's body. At a December detention hearing, Feinling told the court that the song prosecutors reference was recorded 8 months before the shooting. So the prosecutors is saying that Lil Durk made money off the death of this Quando Rondo cousin, saying in the lyrics that Quando Rondo, he saw a news clip of Quando Rondo streaming "No, no" when he seen his cousin's body. The prosecutor is saying this song was recorded a whole 8 months before this shooting, so there was no way for him to make a reference to a news clip when the shooting never even happened. That didn't happen at that time. So during the December hearing, finally focus on the removal of those lyrics from the indictment, calling it false that his client had monetized and celebrated the death at the heart of this case. The murder case is not about defendant's lyrics. It's not about his music. It's about his conduct. U.S. Attorney Ian told the judge. Ian said the defense team had failed to provide new information that undermined the judge's original December ruling that Banks be detained, referencing the jail call and him not following rules. Durk's attorney repeatedly referred to the allegations against his client as weeping generalization. If you are going to allege dangerousness, There has to be some Pacifics, Feinling told the judge. Feinling and Banks was willing to hire around-the-clock security to ensure compliance with conditions imposed by the court. The judge questioned whether the guards would be willing to report the person paying them. After the hearing, Fine said the case against his client always come down to one out of context text message. Okay, so Lil Durk lawyer was saying that, okay, y'all, you can let my client at least out on this, like supervised. You can let him out on supervised. We'll hire a security team and to ensure that he follows the rules. And the judge is like, the security team ain't gonna report they damn boss. That's what that was about. And Lil Durk attorney is saying all his whole case is about a text message that was taken out of context. We feel that a 32-year-old man with no record should be entitled to time outside of the jail cell that he could spend with his family and colleagues. Banks' trial is scheduled to begin October the 14th. So I was reading something else that they did get them lyrics taken out of the indictment. And I think on October the 14th, Lil Durk lawyers are going to ask for the case to be dismissed. So we'll see what happens with that, y'all. Do y'all think that he can get convicted? Do you think the whole case is going to rely on this one text message with Lil Durk saying, don't use make sure my name don't tie back to anything? That's what the text message said. Make sure my name don't tie back to anything. And they're using that text message to say he was telling them when they rent the car and buy the plane tickets to make sure his name, that it doesn't tie back to his name. Which is crazy because they end up saying they use a credit card that went to the record company name. So I'm like, I don't know how much weight this text message is gonna hurt unless they hard headed, because they obviously didn't do what he said in that text message. Now, okay, so so next, let's move on to the next alleged criminal, which is son Diddy Combs. So as I said, today is Monday. So they have, as it's 12 o'clock right now. So they have finished up picking the 18 jurors. What happened on Friday is that they ended up with 45. And Friday they were supposed to narrow the 45 down to 18. What happened Friday, they had to kick out 2 jurors. So they was at 43. So they just held everything over until today, Monday. So today they picking out the 18, and then they're gonna start the opening statements and P. Diddy trial. I think that's about all that's going on today. Let me see. Now, according to some people, I think I saw Armand Wiggins' video, and he said that the defense team seems like what they're gonna do is try to come after Cassie, who is victim 1, and they're gonna pretty much try to make it seem like that. Yeah, P. Diddy, he's a fan. Freaky that that P. Diddy's just freaky. He ain't coerced nobody. He didn't sex traffic. He didn't do any of that. He's just freaky. And Cassie and P. Diddy relationship was a toxic relationship. So they're going to try to explain away that hotel beating video by saying that Cassie was pretty much a hothead as well, that they both did domestic violence, that they both hit each other. And I believe they supposed to have some witnesses coming up to say, I'm assuming, because you can't just throw it out there, that they're going to have witnesses come up to testify about their toxic relationship or about Cassidy's temper, because I believe in another relationship, she may have a record of like putting them hands on her partner. So let's see. Now, this is from CNN.com. Criminal defense attorney explains why Ventura testimony is key to the prosecution case. So the criminal defense attorney Joey Jackson said the testimony of Cassie, ex-girlfriend of Sean Diddy Combs, would be key to jurors' understanding of the case. Jackson said her testimony is a big deal. She's going to lay out the prosecution narrative. However, he noted that while she laid out chapter and verse, sex, drugs, and rock and roll right in that order, what she says, how she says it, whether there's any contradictory nature of what she says is important. He added Ventura, who's pregnant. Yeah, if y'all seen a picture, they showed a picture of her Friday in New York, and she's pregnant. And she's not a little pregnant; she's big pregnant. So they said her being pregnant may also influence the jury. So he added that Ventura pregnancy may influence how her testimony is received and how jurors interpret the defense cross-examination of her as a witness. It's going to be really like walking a tightrope because you don't want to savage her too much because I think she'll be very sympathetic. But they have to go after her because she might have the keys for what could be significant evidence on what he did and what he did to, when, where, and how. And they said 6 of 7. Diddy has 7 kids. 6 of them have been there, and 6 of them is in support of him. I said, well, I wonder what's the one who ain't. Okay, so in the defense argues jurors to consider motive of those testifying during trial. Defense attorney Teeny ended her opening statement by urging jurors to consider motive as they hear testimony during the trial of Sean Diddy Combs. She referenced one of Combs' employees who prosecutors earlier said Combs sexually abused. She encouraged the juror to look closely at the real-time communication, saying everybody who testifies has a motive. Teeny also questioned why Nama Combs' employee reported the workplace allegation. They came up in this case until now. For many of them, the answer is simple: money. I mean, that don't make sense. Yeah, the answer is simple: money. That's why they didn't report it. Money. They wanted that money and they wanted to keep their job. But let me continue. Teeny asked the jury to consider how many millions of reasons does these witnesses swearing to tell the truth and nothing but the truth have to lie. Defense attorney Teeny said the videos of the freak off are intimate and jurors may find them hard to watch, but urged they are strong evidence that the events were consensual and not based on coercion. The defense attorney said that Jane willingly participated in hotel night with Sean Diddy Combs for 3 years. She tried many times to change the tenor of their relationship to something maybe deeper or more meaningful, but it always came back to what would call parties, these nights at her hotel. Okay, so she's saying is that Cassie wanted something more with P. Diddy, but P. Diddy didn't want to use her for nothing but those freak offs. And the reason why she mad and upset right now is because all he wanted her to do is the freak off. She tried to get more, but P. Diddy said, no, freak off only. Because at that time, he had Kim. I guess Kim was still the love of his life, even though I don't want to stop doing these freak off. I don't want to be with just her. But if I'm going to settle down with anybody, it's going to be my baby mama. And I think that's his second baby mama. That ain't even his first one. But anyway, Combs' attorney went on to say that Jane was driven by jealousy. If she walked away, she would have lost him, and that is not something she was willing to do. The defense attorney described Jane and Combs' relationship as toxic and dysfunctional. That's what I just told you, that everybody got that hint Friday that they was going to say that. She said Jane traveled to see Combs many times and continued to engage in a freak off, even after the phone call in 2023. Being a willing participant in your own sex life is not sex trafficking. Defense attorney says Combs' former girlfriend Cassie left the relationship on her own terms. The end of the relationship between Cassie and Combs is important. She left on her terms, her choices, and for the reasons that for her were the right reasons. She says that Cassie was a willing participant in their sex life. This was a voluntary adult choice by 2 capable adults. The defense attorney said Cassie remained in a relationship with Combs for years. In 2008, Cassie saw a gossip site posting about Sean Diddy Combs walking out of a hotel room with another woman and decided to end things. She made a choice every single day for years, a choice to stay with him, a choice to fight for him, because for 11 years, that was the better choice. That was her preferred choice. So she made the choice to stay with him until one day she decided she was going to break up with him because that was her preferred choice. Because that trainer, when she made the decision to leave, there was no repercussions, as the government hinted. She made the choice to leave. She communicated it to him and ran into the arms of another man, a physical trainer Combs had hired to train her. Defense attorney says surveillance tapes is indefensible, but not evidence of sex trafficking. His defense attorney brought up the 2016 hotel surveillance video where Combs is seen physically assaulting Cassie. The day, unfortunately, jealousy was on full display. And Combs had taken some bad drugs. After the way he was over there run. Okay, I'm continue reading this article. Combs did to Cassie on the videotape is defensible. It's horrible. It's dehumanizing. It's violent. It's virtually every bad word you can think of. It's not evidence of sex trafficking. It's evidence of domestic violence. I'm not justifying the assault, not by a long shot, but I'm putting it in the proper context. She said his defense attorney tells the juror not to judge him for his sexual preferences. So she was like, he a freaky ass nigga, but he ain't do nothing illegal. That's what his defense attorney is saying. He's saying you're going to see all these tapes and he going to be having, orgies and sex parties and freak off. He live a swingers lifestyle. It's all she's guilty of. What she said? She says the event in the hotel room was part of a swinger lifestyle, what she described as fancier terms for a threesome. This is CNN, and I'm trying to get to the prosecutor. They said the defense attorney love a baby or is not a federal crime. And then the sex trafficking is not he's domestic violence, but not sex trafficking. Okay. The prosecutor tells juror they also hear some of Sean Diddy Combs' other employees, including an employee Combs allegedly forced into the SUV with a firearm, as well as one of his chefs and other assistants. She acknowledged that some victims and witnesses have received financial settlements or still have active lawsuits. Johnson is also describing various records that will come up during the trial, including dozens and dozens of text messages about freak off, bills for hotels, car services, damages to hotel room. More texts will show Combs directed his former girlfriend Cassie to take Pacific drugs before the freak off. There will also be video evidence. You will see some videos of the freak off. The videos of the defendant used to blackmail Cassie and to blackmail Jane. And to blackmail Jane. Johnson, who's the prosecutor, tells the juror, referring to one of two Combs' alleged victims, his former girlfriend and a woman who's going by the name of Jane in this trial. You will see them put on a performance high on ecstasy while they pretend to enjoy themselves because that is what the defendant said he wanted. The prosecutor linked Combs and his staff to racketeering conspiracy. He said together they agreed to commit different crimes: kidnapping, arson, distributing drugs to other people, exploiting employees for labor. Cassie and Jane will tell you how the defendant tried to control their lives from their homes to their career, how the defendant used his control over them, his lies, his drugs, his threat, his violence to threaten and coerce them into having intercourse with male escorts. They said Combs' inner circle helped him cover up his crimes. He sexually abused one of his other employees. And the prosecutors described graphic details about the freak-offs. Diddy introduced his former girlfriend Cassie to these freak-offs early in their relationship. Half of every week, Cassie was in a dark hotel room, high and awake from days performing sex acts she did not want to do on male escorts. In another freak-off, Venturi still had an open wound on her face from the defendant's most recent assault. Now that's gonna be hard to be like, oh, I didn't. If she got a whole open wound on her face from you beating her ass, it's gonna be hard to tell the juror, nah, this is what she wanted to do. You see, she enjoying it, yeah, because he gonna beat her ass kid like that. That's gonna be a hard one to come back. Johnson say Combs beat Ventura to show who was in charge. He beat her when she didn't answer the phone. When he called, he beat her when she left a freak off without his permission. He beat her when he thought she took too long in the bathroom. Ventura tried to run away. Combs always found her. Johnson says Combs recorded the freak off and used them as blackmail. He told her he could destroy her career by releasing a video of her performing sex acts on dozens and dozens of male escorts. And then it's like, so, but I guess he's a cockhole because I'm like, so you, it's dozens of male escort that you recorded, but you still wouldn't let the girl go. I thought y'all didn't want washed up or used up or. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for right now. So I'm gonna come back because it's still the trial's still going on. Well, the opening statements are still going on right now. So I'll come back and give an update about that later. But I have to get out of here to go get finished making these coins. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Don't forget to like the video. Also, as you come in, subscribe to the channel, hit all so you can see all notifications for when I'm dropping these videos or going live. Okay, enjoy the rest of y'all day. I will see y'all next time. Bye.